Moms for Liberty is an organization created to advocate for those who do not have a large and well-funded union to defend them, students and parents. And right now, I think Moms for Liberty is the undisputed face of the parental rights movement, which is a really important movement happening in this country right now. It is galvanizing parents and grandparents and community members to fight basically for the survival of our republic. We have over 130,000 members and 300 chapters in 45 states. And right now we're trying to capture seats on school boards across the country and galvanize parents to oppose critical race theory, gender theory, and all the other Marxist critical theories that seem to keep consuming the time of public education and even private education. This overt political indoctrination in schools is wrong. Kids can't fight what's happening to them in classrooms. They don't have the capacity. We have to stand in the gap for them. They are a captive audience to very radical activists with a very radical agenda. And we, as the parents and grandparents, have to be their voice. And I like to say, I am not inclusive. I don't want to include crazy people in my children's life. I don't care if they don't like me. I don't like them. So we're even. This is the most. I want to protect children from being sexually abused, politically indoctrinated, and groomed for something that is extremely nefarious. This is the most important thing going on in the country right now. I know there are a lot of things going on, but this gets to the root of so many problems. When you don't understand why are young people voting the way they are, when you don't understand what's happening in college campuses, when you don't understand why there's a generation that just blindly obeys and doesn't understand rule of law, that is not an accident, it is intentional. And for too many years, we have turned a blind eye to public education, and we have got to focus on it because it is a critical institution that the woke radicals have completely captured on every level, from preschools to colleges, universities. It's just, these are captured institutions now. This isn't a conspiracy theory. I'm going to show you that in this presentation. And that's why I like to have this, because it's really important that you see this here. So I have about 300 slides right now. I narrowed it down to what has been happening in Wisconsin over the last 2 weeks. This is the paper form. This is just 2 weeks. And that's not even everything. So, this is a book in my daddy's belly. The true life-inspired children's book follows the excitement and joy that two dads have for the anticipated arrival of their new baby. Me and My Gender Dysphoria Monster. A book created for 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds about a young boy transitioning to a girl and about ready to start taking puberty blockers. This is a recommended reading from Wisconsin DPI from the various resources. This is a newer book, and I have it at the table. Emily Drabinski, she is the president of the American Library Association, and she was at the Socialism 2023 conference in Chicago, Illinois. And she said, and this was recorded, but I think your point that public education needs to be a site of socialist organizing. She congratulated everybody there on all of their work to bring activism, radicalism, and socialism into libraries and into schools. And she said it was their job to train the next generation. And how do you think she's going to train them? my friend. She is now 22 years old, but when she was 16 years old and struggling, Luca had a double mastectomy. At the age of 16, it was her first medical intervention. Puberty blockers, hormones. Her parents finally said no when they were about to remove her uterus when she was 18 years old. She was scheduled to have her uterus removed. She thought that might finally make me happy. She had several comorbidities since she was 12 years old: cutting, bulimia, anorexia, depression, anxiety. And she went online and she was told this would make her happy. She's really a boy. Now, she is suing. She is now the 5th girl to sue large hospitals, large institutions, the doctors that did this to her. And I'm very proud of her for what she's doing, because it's going to be through these massive lawsuits that we finally end a lot of this. They're going to have to pay a price, a huge financial price. Green Bay, Wisconsin, this was breaking today. I was working with Libs of TikTok. Green Bay high school teacher, drag queen, bears all. I had to cover up the pictures. This is a teacher in Green Bay that's a drag queen that had an Instagram account, a TikTok account, OnlyFans, and he told his students to follow him. Among the images that students saw was nearly nude photos of their teacher, and at anything but clothes party, he posed with his back to the camera wearing what seemed to be a duct tape thong. He made his account private when parents started to complain, but what is the district doing? Nothing. He is still employed. They allegedly did nothing and claimed that this was not a part of his professional role. The Pulaski High School administration, when they tried to, that's what they said when they were confronted by the parents. Another in Green Bay, this happened at the end of August. A trans-identified biological male was allowed to try out for the Southwest High School volleyball team. He made the team. Biological girls received injuries, bruises, welts during practice. When they wanted to shower, they had to find other accommodations, or they had to shower in front of this biological boy with fully intact genitalia. When the parents complained, they were told, if you're uncomfortable, find another place. The girls' comfort didn't matter. All that mattered was the biological boy's comfort. Find another place, yes, they would have to find another place to change, another place to shower, and that's the district policy throughout the entire high school. If a biological boy identifies as trans, he can use whatever restroom or facility he wants. By identifying as trans, that doesn't mean medicalization, it just means simply saying, hey, I feel like a woman today. That's all you have to do. No one will confront them, because the teachers a lot of teachers are unhappy with this, but they are afraid to confront and then lose their jobs. But frankly, if enough stood together and confronted this, I think it would end, and it would definitely be something I'd be willing to lose my job over. This just happened in, Osceola. I always move. A teacher's aide was charged with sexual assault of a 9-year-old. The teacher's aide had been charged with repeated sexual assault, and finally they had been removed from the district. And this is just something this is what was told to parents. Be an ally, use your white cisgender privilege to get men and boys into women and girls' bathrooms, shower rooms, and on their sports teams. Also in Osceola, this is a teacher, recently hired, high school AP Lit teacher. She herself sent around her dissertation to all the school staff. Her dissertation, Sexual Warfare. And it is the clinch covers, step backs, and historical romance novels in the wake of the golden age of pornography. I can't post. She had images of Penthouse, Hustler, some of these things in her dissertation. Sexually degraded language by sticking food into various areas. I could not post on social media what was in her dissertation that she shared and happily promoted. I have a feeling that parents might want to keep an eye on this teacher and be careful of what she's teaching kids. I have the entire dissertation. I started reading through it. I was appalled and shocked. First of all, the grammar was horrendous. Second of all, it was a really I couldn't believe that this is how she's going to get her PhD, and I can't believe that she passed this around, and still the district thought, this is a good idea to hire her. This is River Falls, Wisconsin. Rainbow Library, Glenson. These are the flags hanging up all over the classroom, elementary school classrooms. Things to know, LGBTQ+, what that means, gender, pronouns, transgender. In the elementary school and middle schools, a Gender and Sexuality Alliance Club. Safe Zone. These posters are hung up all throughout River Falls and in districts all over the state. Whenever you see this, you know that it says this is a place where people of all sexual orientations and gender identities are welcomed and affirmed. Real quick, I want to point out that the group, Safe Zone Project, also had this on their website. I found this today, 30 plus examples of Christian privileges. If you're a Christian in the United States, you have a bunch of unearned benefits you get that members of other faiths or non-religious people do not. It is not about shame, it's about understanding. Know your privilege as a Christian. And you should submit your privilege to others. Basically, you're privileged to be a Christian. That's a privilege you didn't earn, and you should give it up for other people. If they have values that don't align with yours, set your values aside for theirs. So Max Eden just posted this, and your kids can identify as a rock. Their personal pronoun, rock self. Moon, your pronoun, moon self. How you would use that in a sentence? Rock just went, referring to myself, if I said I just went to the store and bought myself a Coke, Rock just went to the store and bought Rock self a Coke for Rock. If left unchecked, gender ideology has zero limiting principles, and it descends into madness, absolute madness. All of this, they're called neo-genders. There are literally hundreds of them, and all of this, everything that I'm showing you can be linked back to Wisconsin DPI and their partnerships with Glenson, the Safe Zone Project, Gender Spectrum, Trevor Project, Advocates for Youth, and many activist organizations that schools use as recruitment centers. I'll go a little faster. This right here, this is all linked on Wisconsin DPI, Gender Development Facts, what do young children know about their gender, children parenting gender, gender affirmation. These are all tools to be used by parents and by teachers. Are you transgender? Elkhorn. This is a survey that was given out to students, middle school and high school, asking them very, very personal questions. They asked them, are you 10 years of age, 11, 12, 13, 14, and on? And what gender do you identify as? What are your pronouns? Are you transgender? This is in Wisconsin. This is the Monroe Grove School District in Dane County. So this is what are your words? And so 6-year-olds, without parental knowledge or consent, as part of an equity initiative, were read this book, What Are Your Words? And it was a gender journey on pronoun use. Again, parents weren't contacted, they didn't know. And when they contacted the school after finding out what happened, they were told by the principal, next year we'll foreshadow for you, but we won't give you the materials, and we won't tell you when we're doing these equity initiatives. Just know that they are part of our DEI, and that's all we're going to tell you. And go a little bit faster, but I think you might all know about this. If your parents aren't accepting of your identity, I'm your mom now. That was from Eau Claire. In that presentation, which is professional development, this is very important. Teachers are given professional development as part of their licensure. The teachers were told parents are not entitled to know their kids' identities, that knowledge must be earned. Teachers are often straddling this complex situation, and in the Eau Claire Area School District, our priority is supporting this student. In Wisconsin, these are just some of the school districts that have the same transgender, gender non-conforming policies. These policies openly state that school district personnel can and should keep a student's transgender status concealed from parents. Keep secrets from parents. In this country, and this isn't all of them, there are 1,044 districts, 18,331 schools, and over 10 million kids that will operate under this umbrella, where they will keep secrets from parents. This was a professional development. Milwaukee Public Schools, one of the psychologists was giving this, but it was professional development, which means school counselors from across the states were in the attendance, hundreds of them. In this, they were told about furries, a furry identity, that kids can identify as animals. They can identify as rocks, unicorns. You affirm it. The kids are in charge. Whatever they say goes. And if the parents don't like it, well, don't tell them. And if you live in California, they'll just take your kid away. They just passed that legislation. My advice, never let your kids see a school psychologist unless you are physically present, and put that in writing. And there's a lot more. This is with the school psychologist, just more of what was given in that presentation. This is the DPI Educational Equity Project, and this year they're bringing in Ibram X. Kendi with your tax dollars. Bettina Love and Robin DeAngelo. Bettina Love claims that all school choice initiatives are a product of white rage and whiteness and white supremacy, and they should all go. Ibram X. Kendi said the only way to be an anti-racist is to be racist. So discrimination against white people is the only way to make up for past discrimination. And Robin DeAngelo said that white babies are racist in the womb. They are born racist. They can't escape it. Your money is bringing these people in the 2023-2024 school year. And with time, there's a lot. The good news is that Moms for Liberty is working with a lot of local groups. We're trying to develop databases to find professional books. We are trying to uncover professional development. We're trying to find out what the curriculum is in classrooms, and we're trying to elect new school board members. And when you have control of the school board, if there's majority of sane people in charge, all of these policies can be revoked. There's a lot of power and influence in these local positions. Local elections matter. They're bigger than you think. Everything that I just showed you, a good school board can start to reverse all of this. And lawsuits, Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. And if they're already doing this in California. So if California can do this, we certainly can. California there's been several landmark cases, and there's school districts in California that are winning school board elections and turning things around, and that's why Gavin Newsom and the Democrats are working so hard. They just passed legislation basically saying that if you don't affirm your child's gender identity, then you will lose custody of your children. And when that child gets the gender-affirming surgeries and drugs, they'll send you the bill. This is in Wisconsin. There's a transgender parent and non-binary advocacy caucus, and they're working against the good common sense legislation that's trying to be passed by Barb Dietrich and many of the Wisconsin Republicans that would save girls' sports, that would stop gender mutilation, that would stop these surgeries, that would ban them for minors, and that would affirm parental rights. These are all part of our Wisconsin legislative priorities. And if you can come to the table in the back and learn more, but this was a recent article. We are growing, and they call us extremists. I call us sane. And that's it for now.